I'd like to take this opportunity to address difficulties that women can experience in menopause and how we can practice with this very challenging period of time for many women in their lives. I'm prompted by a friend who has expressed the challenges that this change in life can cause and how the menopause can really wreak havoc for many women. So there are so many different things going on physically and also emotionally and mentally at this time of life when the hormones change, the estrogen falls away, and it has a profound impact on our entire system. So this is an important topic. I'm just reading from the message I received regarding menopause, 100 symptoms, a hormonal nightmare. There's very little medical help. The Western medicine doesn't really meet the need for many women who have menopausal symptoms of all different kinds and offers to prolong their relationship with the female hormones, giving hormone replacement therapy. And this really touches into our culture of inclining towards worshipping youthfulness, long life, looking young for as long as possible, and not really wanting to accept the inevitable changes of old age, moving towards death. And this is perhaps reflected in the way in which medical attitudes and societal attitudes to menopause manifest. This is a time that women are opening to old age, letting go of youth, and ideally, as in Indigenous cultures, this could be seen as a very valuable life stage to be made much of. We could celebrate the wisdom of the elders, the freedom that they can experience as the procreating hormones are no longer needed, and they can let go of so much of the sexual, gender, societal conditioning around womanhood. The children may be old enough to take care of themselves. There's freedom in this time, letting go of motherhood, letting go of nurturing in that way, letting go of the body's need to procreate, and opening to a different, altogether different phase of life. And there can be a lot of suffering. So first, to address the physical and mental and emotional suffering that can arise during menopause. A lot of our suffering is eased by recognition, is it not, friends? So to see the suffering, to be able to be with the suffering is very helpful. To have acceptance and acknowledgement of menopause as a source of suffering could be very helpful. It may not always be there. A friend says, society tells older women to hide this part of their life away and to suffer in silence. There is not the appreciation and respect for wise elder women, for the crone, the elder. The elder women in some societies are really revered, listened to. Their advice is sought because their natural wisdom through life experience is very much appreciated. There's also a spiritual component, of course, to the insight and wisdom that can be there for older women. And this may not be so much of interest in our societies that worship fashion and youth and excitement and going places and being somebody. But there certainly is a spiritual dimension to the menopause, to the letting go and to the easefulness that can result at the end of this process. But coming back to the physical suffering, there is this change that happens, and there can be so many symptoms, of course, of sleeplessness and temperature imbalances, night sweats, mood swings, overheating in public situations or work situations, feeling terrible and not feeling able to express that, because the menopause is not recognized as the phenomenon that it is for so many women. There's mood issues, strong emotions can come and go inexplicably. There can be unexpected tearfulness, unexpected anger, very powerful, strong emotions can arise. And one can relate this to the hormones shifting and changing, but the emotional experiences can be very real. How do we work with all of this? Well, to work with the physical, emotional, and mental suffering of menopause, we can sit, practice mindfulness, be open to what's actually being experienced, bring in compassion, bring in loving kindness, make time, give attention, which is to give love to this process that's unfolding for us, not to allow ourselves to be distracted, not to sideline what we're experiencing, not to fall for the societal values and try to maintain our youthfulness and long to remain young when we're clearly not able to do so, but rather embrace the changes, the aging, the greying of the hair, the wrinkling of the skin, the many, many subtle shifts and changes physically that are happening for us. Respect the changes, value them, open to what comes next. So to not struggle and fight what's happening for us in the change of life can be so helpful. And to appreciate the spiritual value of this time of the body becoming more peaceful, becoming more simple in a way, becoming more childlike in a way, as the gender falls away, as the hormones no longer exert their influence. There's a steadiness we can appreciate. We're no longer subject to monthly cycles and all the change that they have been bringing every month. Rather, we can appreciate there's a shift into a more steady trajectory. There's also suffering involved in these changes, of course. Old age can be a great struggle for us, but we can help ourselves so much through developing degrees of acceptance through our practice, through mindfulness, through wise attention, allowing the suffering to be felt, to be given attention, to therefore be understood and to be let go of. I hope these words can be of help and support for those who are experiencing the multitude of menopausal symptoms, who may be struggling, who may be feeling overwhelmed by the changes that are happening, or who may be feeling invisible in their suffering because of the lack of societal recognition for this really important life stage for women. May we all recognize that there's a lot happening for all of us as these bodies go through the phases of life, and let's allow ourselves to learn from, to open to appreciate the unfolding experience and recognize that we're given an opportunity, if we're lucky enough to go through menopause and to age, we have the opportunity to prepare ourselves for the final adventure, the great challenge that comes at the end of life, the great letting go that is death. Can we allow every change that happens to be like a rehearsal for the big shift, the big change, the big letting go? to gracefully, graciously open and learn thereby from our every experience, and to have great tenderness, friends, and great compassion, so much loving kindness for the physical suffering, emotional and mental suffering that we may be experiencing as our bodies change through life.